Think about a purchase you made in recent months that still weighs on you. Not a purchase that went wrong by chance. A purchase you made, and when you look at it now, you realize it wasn't really a decision. It was a reflex. Maybe it was too expensive, and you bought it anyway because you felt you deserved it. Or it was cheap, and you bought it because you don't spend on yourself even when you can. Or you avoided a purchase that made sense, and you're still justifying why you didn't do it. Reflex. What happened automatically before you thought? Most people think their decisions about money are rational, that they weigh pros and cons, do the math, make informed decisions. And sometimes it's true. But beneath every financial decision is a layer that was formed long before any bank account, a layer that most people have never examined. Money is probably the most powerful invisible inheritance there is, because it's the only one everyone has, everyone uses, and almost no one talks about honestly. In families, people talk about health, about love, about work. But about money, the real values, the real fears, the beliefs that guide everything, there's a huge silence. And that silence is not neutral. It gets passed down. Childhood. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be a phrase you heard repeatedly, a situation at the dinner table, something you realized too late about how money worked in your house. There are three main ways financial inheritance is passed down, and rarely explicitly. No one sits down and says, "Son, here's what we think about money." It's passed down in behaviors, in silences, in reactions. Legacy 1, perpetual scarcity. Families where money was always insufficient, either because it really was or because it was perceived that way. What you learn here is not to save. What you learn is anxiety. That money is a constant source of worry. That financial stability is fragile and can disappear. That spending is dangerous. People with this legacy reach adulthood, and even when they have money, they can't enjoy it. There's always an impending catastrophe in their head. They save money not out of discipline, out of fear. And sometimes that fear is so strong it paralyzes. They avoid investing, avoid spending even when it makes sense, live in a chronic state of restraint that has no relation to their current financial reality. Legacy 2, performative abundance. Families where money was used as a language of status, where what was spent communicated who they were. The car, the house, the vacations, the clothes. Everything served to convey a message about the family's place in the world. What you learn here is that money is identity, that you are worth what you appear to be worth, that there's a version of you that only exists if you can keep it funded. People with this legacy often have a complicated relationship with debt, because debt allows them to maintain the performance even when resources fall short. And they have difficulty distinguishing what they truly want from what they want to show. Legacy 3, financial silence. Families where money simply wasn't discussed. It was taboo, or considered unnecessary, or embarrassing, or an adult matter. Children grew up never understanding how the family functioned financially. What you learn here is that money is an opaque subject, that it exists but isn't understood, that it operates but isn't controlled. People with this legacy reach adulthood without basic financial literacy, not due to a lack of intelligence, but a lack of a model. And they often perpetuate the same silence with their own children because it's the only model they know. None of these legacies is necessarily intentional. Your parents passed on what they received. But that doesn't mean you have to continue operating it without examining it. Beneath each legacy is a core belief about what money is. Not an opinion, a conviction that operates as fact, guiding decisions before any conscious thought. Here are the most common ones. Listen to each and note which one resonates. Not with what you think is true, but with what your behavior suggests you believe. Money is security. Those who hold this belief never have enough money. The amount they would need to feel secure is always a bit more than they have. Money is freedom. Those who hold this belief work obsessively to accumulate, but often don't know what they would do with the freedom if they had it. Money is power. Those who hold this belief measure relationships in financial terms. Who pays? Who owes? Who has more? Money is an instrument of interpersonal dynamics. Money is evil. Those who hold this belief sabotage their own financial success. Unconsciously, because there's a part of them that associates having money with being a type of person they don't want to be. Money is luck. Those who hold this belief feel powerless about their financial situation. They don't invest in financial literacy because deep down they believe the outcome is already decided. As a conviction that precedes any decision, money, and can you trace where it came from? A specific scene, a specific person, a repeated phrase. This is the kind of thing only you can bring to this episode. This is an unfounded personal development talk. There is solid research on how emotions and beliefs about money are formed and operate. A study published in the Journal of Economic Psychology showed that parents' financial attitudes are the best predictor of children's financial attitudes, above formal education, above current income, above financial literacy. In other words, what you saw at home matters more than what you learned in school or what you earn today. Another relevant field of research is the psychology of money, popularized by works like Brad Clontze's On Money Scripts. Klontz identified 4 main patterns of financial beliefs that are passed down through generations: money avoidance, money worship, financial status, and financial vigilance. Each has roots in childhood experiences, and each creates specific patterns of financial behavior in adulthood. You're not irresponsible. You're not irrational. You're operating a system that was installed before you had an opinion about it. And the important part, systems that were installed can be examined. Not overnight, not without work, but they can. There are no 5 steps. There is number 21-day method. What there is clarity, and clarity begins by asking questions that have never been asked. Question 1. What does money represent to me? And where does that meaning come from? Not what you think it should represent. What it represents. The answer is in your behavior, not your intentions. Look at where you spend without thinking, at what you avoid buying even when you can, at what gives you anxiety, and what gives you pleasure in this area. Question 2. What financial decision in your life did you make that, looking back, was more inheritance than choice? It could be a career chosen because it makes money when you wanted something else. It could be a savings you never made because no one taught you how. It could be a compulsive generosity that always leaves your account empty. It could be a restraint that has nothing to do with your real situation. Question 3. What do you want to pass on about money? And are you passing it on? If you have children, or if you ever will, or if there's someone younger in your life watching you, what are they learning about money by watching you? Not what you tell them, what they see. Can you see clearly enough to choose differently? The money you have today, or don't have, is not just the result of your decisions. It's the result of the decisions of those who came before you, the beliefs that were passed down to you, the models you saw work or fail. That's not an excuse. It's context. And context changes what's possible to do next. Because when you realize that part of your financial decisions aren't yours, that it's inheritance, it opens up space for a question you couldn't ask before. And what do I truly want? Money is neutral. What we do with it, and what we let it do to us, that's inherited. Next time, the conversation will go to a place that's simultaneously more universal and more intimate than money. We'll talk about the woman who was present in everything, before, during, and after any financial, professional, loving, or identity decision you ever made. That's invisible inheritance. What your family taught you about money before you had a bank account. Season 1 had the father's curve. This season has the other half. Next time, the conversation will go to the place everyone recognizes but almost no one can describe accurately. The inheritance a mother leaves. Invisible inheritance. Season 2.